The left side of this landing page panel is about route analysis, sequential segments. The right side of this landing page is a macro analysis or regional analysis tool entry point. And so this entry is going to give you a view of performance at the entire regional level based on the selected measure that's here. And so each of the measures that are located here are pre-programmed into the map. So when we click on this, we will be able to see a little bit about, it'll automatically populate, but we've organized them into different things. So if you're trying to do a floating car study and you'd like to know regionally all of the segments, if you'd like to just understand that, right out of the gate, this can allow you to download all of your segments at once for your region, and you can identify the segments that you're looking for in that way. If you're looking to do reliability, and you want to understand about reliability, there's two measures that we have pre-canned here. If you would like to know about congestion, there's a couple here, and then emissions. There's PM3, which is the performance measures. This brings you to another section of the tool, and then the TISMO tools here at the bottom bring you to a different site connected to this that does more up-to-date operation style regional congestion mapping and ranking and all this kind of stuff. So each one of these things brings you to a regional assessment tool. And so we can click into any one of these, and what we'll do before we click in is you're going to want to set which region you're from. For this regional analysis, we're going to take a look at the floating car study as well here. There's a couple of different ways that we can talk about speeds. And this is an important piece to understand when it comes to a floating car study. So we'll select, again, we're going to select the Capital District for this. That's the region that I'm working in, so I know it well. And we're going to select the 50th percentile speed. The 50th percentile speed is showing us one way of looking at the speeds collected for a floating car survey. This is showing us the median speed. So this 50th percentile is cutting the data set in half. So half of the data set is above this, half of the data set is below this. And so this is one way of looking at speeds. You could also look at, there's a variety of other percentile speeds that you can set here, 75th, 80th, 85th, 95th. Some of these other percentile speeds can represent different types of behavior. So for instance, 85th percentile speed is the free flow speed. So if that's what you're interested in, that's another type of speed calculation you can get out of here. We're going to stick with this median percentile speed. And one of the ways I want to just show you what the percentile speed means is let's select one of these segments. So let's come in here and choose this segment here. So this is one of the pieces of the tool that's helpful to be able to investigate a single segment's behavior. So we're going to select this, and it opens in a new tab. And this is showing us that this has a high data completion, meaning that it's pretty much 100% data quality, except for the hours of 12 in the morning until about 4:30 a.m., 5 in the morning. And even those are at least 50, roughly 50% or higher data quality. But what I want to show you here is this is showing us for that segment all of the data points that are inside of the data set for the given year. So right now the year is 2022. So this is showing us every single epoch of data in one graph, and it's showing us the speeds. So this has like the highest speed of roughly 75 miles an hour and the lowest speed of roughly roughly 57 miles an hour on pretty much. So this is a very standard, there's not a lot of it's it's not a wide distribution. Some routes do have a very wide distribution where there's a lot of slower speeds, and it's usually indicative of a route that has PM or AM peak bottleneck behavior. So this route here is showing us all of and it's broken out into overnight, AM peak, off peak, PM peak, and weekend. And so you're seeing how many total at the bottom measures that we have at this speed. So you're seeing that we have 25,404 at this 70 mile an hour speed, which in the median speed, which I was just mentioning, the 50th percentile speed, is we have 22,651. And then on the right over here, we have 85th percentile speed is 13,000, so on and so forth. This tool allows you to just take a look at the behavior of the route, and it shows you a couple of the segment, I'm sorry. And it shows you a number of different measures on that exact segment. And so what we're looking at here now, again, is the whole region. So every single segment in the region that we have data for. So you also notice that there are some segments here that don't have, I cannot click over here. This does not have data. So we don't know anything about that route, but we do have data on this segment and over here on this segment, but not on these segments here. So that's just one thing to note. It's not a full coverage of the entire system. On the left side of the page, we have the different years that you can select from the data set. So we can change the year if you want to look at a different year. And we can also compare it to another year. So if you're interested in seeing the difference in behavior between 2023 and 2020, you can look at it here as well. And so we can play around with that in the future, in a future video. But for now, let's open the data downloader, because I would assume that folks would like to be able to pull some of this data directly out. Now, it saves your settings. So whichever settings you had previously set for export are here. These are my settings that I set before. I've selected a handful of things here. And by the time you use this, these might actually be default settings for metadata, because these are very useful pieces of metadata that help to show route numbers and route names, so that you know what route in the physical world, this TMC, which has just a very, like a number that doesn't mean a lot to us. That TMC segment is actually associated with a road that has a name and a number. It's typically. We also have the length of the segment, etc. And so we can also dump out more than even the percentile speed that we have. So we've selected this 50th percentile speed, but we also can pull out information like average speed limit, or total excessive delay, or the planning time index by AM peak or PM peak. We have total excessive delay per mile versus the regular, so that you can look at that as a comparator across segments. We have the reliability measures I mentioned earlier, and you can add more by just coming through here. So for instance, if you wanted to pull in some risk attributes, you could select here, and then you can come in here and you can say, you can find, you could add average, annual average daily traffic, and you'll hit add measure. And we can grab there's the TMC attributes, which I believe also has annual average daily traffic. And this annual average daily traffic comes from the HPMS system, so it might be slightly different than what RIS has. So let's bring that in too. And if you wanted to add other TMC meta variables, you could. So what county is it in? What road class is it, et cetera. There's a lot of different things you could add. You could download as a shapefile or as a CSV. And so, I'll download this as a CSV. It'll take a few seconds to load or create the CSV file, and then it'll download for you. So this is the basics of the macro tool, or the regional analysis tool. And one of the things to note here is that all of those various measures that I showed are on the landing page as an entry point, that if you'd like to jump directly into any of those, the settings are in place for you to just jump right in and take a look.